welcome everyone to our week 2 of the pro football season recap show. Um, I'll just say that the first couple hours of this week was very slow. These games were really, really bad. And then all of a sudden, in the third and fourth quarter of the 1 o'clock games, it just heated up and it got really, really exciting. And here we are. And it ended off with Renfro fumbling and
Well,
Arizona saving their season with a remarkable comeback win and a devastating loss for the Raiders. And even though it's week 2, you see a trend um, in the league so far. And one of the things I'm going to say going forward for the next 15 weeks is no lead is safe in the NFL no more. No lead is safe. I don't care if you're down by 20 in the fourth quarter, because some of these smart coaches who get paid all this money, they think too much. So we're gonna recap the show because we got another game tonight and go at it. What's up, partner?
yeah, man. Full disclosure, I didn't see a lot of the 1 o'clock action because I was at Union High School with the youth football Union Rams. But how? Somebody explain to me, y'all in the chat. Y'all make the show. Y'all really do, and we appreciate you giving us your eyes. How did the Cleveland Browns blow that lead against the New York Jets?
They had their hands team on the field for the onside kick and they kicked it to Amari Cooper and he couldn't handle the onside kick.
It was Amari, but this morning, because one of the greatest segments on TV is by a guy that my buddy Craig just doesn't like at all, and my buddy Quentin could take him or leave him. But Colin Cowherd does this segment that I love, and it goes, when Colin was right, when Colin is wrong. Well, when Dwayne is right, and when Dwayne is wrong. I was wrong about Joe Flacco, man. I went at Joe Flacco this morning. Thinking this game to pass Joe Flacco by. Joe Flacco was 26 of 44 for 307 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Dwayne, the funniest thing about Flacco is I thought he physically couldn't do it no more. Obviously, he still got something left in the tank. The Jets, he may have salvaged the Jets season with this win. It's good to see and I know a lot. It's some teams that's 0-2, and I'm not rooting against nobody's team that's 0-2. It's good to see that the league right now is wide open. In my opinion, from what I've seen, it's wide open. The Chiefs are 2-0, but they could be 0-2, and it is the league where it's a game of inches, and you see that winning and losing is not real thin line. You got to be very, very careful of winning. Yeah, Anthony. Yeah, Matt Ryan. I picked Jacksonville today, and I picked Jacksonville for two reasons. They were at home in a division rival, and I felt as though that they didn't have no pressure. The Colts got pressure, and I'm gonna tell you what I was saying to a mutual friend of me and Dwayne's, Craig. The Colts' problem is you can't get away from who you are. You're a running football team. You're going to throw the ball 20 times a game and you're going to run. A lot of these teams, they run away from their identity. You have a power line, you got a premier back, and you're trying to throw the football all over the park. You can't do that. Just run the football. Just run the football. It's as simple as that. Football is the only sport that you could pack up and you could take your running game and defense on the road in any weather. Any weather. So we're gonna run through these games real quick. We don't have to go each game, Dwayne. You
We
could
got
just
time, bro. We got time. Even if we run into the Sunday night game, we ain't gonna rush it. Um, hey man, we called it this morning. We both called it. We like the Detroit Lions to beat the Commanders, man. Jared Goff 4 touchdowns today, man. And listen, I called out my boy this morning. I got on these airwaves and I called out Aiden Hutchinson for only having 1 tackle last week. 3 sacks today.
I'm gonna just say
3
this about
sacks.
I'm gonna say this about Jared Goff. If they build their passing game off their running game, Detroit's gonna be a problem. Detroit has a two-headed monster up there, and they can run the football. If they continue to just play action off that's why Jared Goff had them numbers. Because trust me, when you look at the tape of their running game is scary, and they got a scary good young line. The Detroit Lions have a line, you guys. I'm talking about we going back there when they had Glover and Lomas Brown. Detroit Lions might have the best line in the NFL.
First of all, it's time for the NFL to give Panay Sewell his just due. He's a top 5 offensive lineman in this game
Already.
of NFL football. He's
Already.
a top 5 offensive lineman, man. He's nasty. He's mean. He's nimble on his feet. Panay Sewell is a household name, man. He's become a household name.
Yeah, Anthony, we know you're a Commander fan. You know, it's tough for us because we will never root for y'all, but we try to give assessments. I know a lot of people feel as though we believe that a lot of times with the Commanders is people got giddy over these 4 number 1 picks. Sweat don't hold at the point of attack against the run. He never did. He's a small end. And now they lost depth. And I just don't think that their defense. Ron Rivera is a good coach. We both like him. I don't know about their defense. I'm telling you, Detroit's offensive line might be the best offensive line in the NFL.
Listen, man, Chase Young is a phenomenal talent in this league where they pay for play. But as we said this morning, you ain't no good for me when you're in the tub. And throughout his career, the brother is in the tub as much as he's on the field. Now, when he's on the field, he's a baller, but he keep getting injured, man. Like, some people are just injury prone. It's unfortunate. And he may be one of those injury prone type players, man. He may be. But good win for Detroit at home. Hey, Tampa, TB12, and the Bucks did enough to beat the Saints.
The fight destroyed that game.
Got a little chippy.
Mike Evans may be suspended.
But Mike Evans said what he said. He's like, that's Tom Brady. What you want me to do? Like, he's defending TB12, man. But he may get suspended. You're right. But should Lattimore get suspended as well?
Mm-mm.
No?
He didn't throw a punch at first.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there you got it.
Big loss by the Saints because they had them right where they want to. Saints had beat them 4 straight. That's a big win by Tampa. Tampa, and I want to give the coach who we've known since we were kids. I have to give him his credit because Tampa is not good right now, y'all. But their defense is really good.
And
Their
Todd
defense.
have a good
Todd is doing a hell of a job. And usually, if you watch Todd's defenses, they're usually bad in the beginning of the year and they get stronger towards the end. So Todd is doing a hell of a job. And Tampa's 2-0. At the end of the day, everything that's going on around with Tom and his situation, they're a 2-0 football team.
Listen, I want the Saints to be better. I know everybody was hot on the Saints. Jameis, again, he just turns the ball over too much, man. 3 interceptions today, man. He got to be better. He's better than that, man. Jameis got to be better. He can't be turning the ball over that many times.
Mm-hmm.
I was wrong. New York Giants. Hey, man, they moved to 2-0 for the first time since 2016. It wasn't pretty. Wasn't a pretty game, but it ain't got to be pretty. It just got to be a W. So the Giants moved to 2-0. Full disclosure to everybody, I love Matt Rule. I think Matt Rule's a great coach, but Matt Rule just may be a college coach. I don't see him surviving this year. Unless Carolina goes on an amazing run, I just don't see him surviving the year.
One thing I noticed that I can give credit to Brian Dable with the Giants. They're they're well coached. I don't think they got a lot of talent. Like a lot of people be like, oh, they're 2-0. They don't make many mistakes. outside of the quarterback. And we know I'm not big on the quarterback. I think he's a turnover machine. Once he gets started, I think it's over. But then they play football when when you're building a program. Very close to the vest, not making mistakes. The problem with Carolina, looking at Matt Rule and what he's building, they just don't have enough talent down there. And he can't get no wins. You've seen it today. Christian McCaffrey, you literally know that him and DJ Moore is the only ones. And Baker, their young offensive lineman was getting destroyed. I mean, the Giants was putting pressure on Baker every chance he couldn't get outside the pocket, do nothing. But big win for the Giants. Giants start 2-0 for the first time since 2016. Big game I know they got next week. We're gonna talk about that next Sunday. And the Giants is back. Their fans is happy, and that's a good thing. That's good for the NFL. And that's good for what we do, us being from the New York, New Jersey area.
Um, Matt Jones and the Patriots, I didn't think they could do it today. They went in there and they won at Pittsburgh 17-14. Um, I'll never question Mike Tomlin because history shows the man just knows how to coach football. But I don't know how long he could stick with Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky is just not a good NFL quarterback, folks. He's not. Man had 21 completions today, 21 to 33 for only 168 yards. How do you
I saw, I saw, I had a chance to watch them. I get their games a lot. I had a chance to watch them for about a quarter, and Mitch Trubisky had what they call option. They were option routes. He had a chance to throw a 1 yard pass and allow number 13. What's the receiver? The other one, the one that got the money.
Oh, Johnson.
Johnson. He had a chance to throw Johnson a screen.
Deontay Johnson.
Deontay Johnson a screen. It was a choice route. He didn't throw him the screen. He threw a slant play. Got tipped, interception. Sometimes these quarterbacks, they get greedy. I noticed today in that game, and I was really looking at the Chase Claypools. These guys can't separate. A lot of receivers, and I noticed it last week. A lot of receivers who we think are good, who we think are getting paid good money, they should be thankful that the NFL changed these rules because they can't separate from these DBs. It's not as easy. A lot of these guys don't know how to run routes. A lot of routes are on top of each other, where you'll have a receiver doing a choice route, and then you'll have a tight end undercut them, and they both pick the wrong side and they bump into each other. I've seen that in a lot of games this week. So it's not these offensive receivers are not as good as we think that they are by these numbers that they put up.
Yeah. So interesting, Patriots get the W. Next game, we both was on this. We both called it earlier today. We didn't call it 24-0 victory, but the Jaguars definitely did that. They got a 24-0 victory, and Matt Ryan did not play like that. Did not play like that. 16 to 30 for 195, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Is he better than Carson Wentz? I know Carson Wentz had a player over game. Who's the better quarterback right now?
Hey, listen, Trevor Lawrence, 25 of 30, but 235 and 2 touchdowns. Young man only threw 5 incompletions. Now, they stuck to their running game. Doug Peterson's a good coach, folks. He's a Super Bowl winning coach. Even though the running game wasn't successful, you had Robinson carry the ball 23 times for 64 yards. And one of those runs was for 37. So it's not like they was getting a lot of yards, but they stuck to the running game. Jonathan Taylor only had 9 carries for 54 yards. They basically eliminated them because they jumped on them. They was up 17-0 at the half. So the Colts had to pass. Took Jonathan Taylor out the game. It's a good win for Doug Peterson.
I like Jacksonville. I like their program. I like them going forward. They keep spending all this money getting these picks. Eventually, Doug Peterson gonna have them in the playoffs.
Yeah, man. Next, our little team that could. We both loved this team when Brian Flores was the head coach. Now they got Mike McDaniel. And that is a very impressive win. This is the most impressive win of the day to me. Most impressive win of the day to me. The Miami Dolphins go into Baltimore and come out with a 42-38 victory, man.
I'll say, and I took Baltimore because I didn't think he could do it. But I'm gonna just say this: Tua has the best receivers in the NFL.
Hey, man, Tua was 36 of 50 for 469, 6 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Now, let's talk about these receivers. Let's talk about our boy. 0 catches, only 1 target.
What about Waddle?
Come on, Cedric.
Yeah,
Waddle, 11 for 171, 2 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, 11 for 190, 2 touchdowns. We talked about Gesicki this morning. They got him involved. 4 catches, 41 yards, and a touchdown. Um, Running game, Mozart, 51 yards. Edmund, 33. So, see, you're not going to have a bunch of 100-yard rushers, but you still got to be able to run the ball to keep people honest. And that's what they did. Lamar Jackson,
hmm
excellent game for Lamar. 21 to 29 for 318 and 3 touchdowns. 9 carries for 119 yards and 1 touchdown. Baltimore
Baltimore,
should have signed.
Baltimore, Baltimore better black. They better back that Brinks truck up after next year, and that loss right there for them was a big loss in that conference. They had them. They had Baltimore. They had their Miami on the ropes, and that was one of the games that I wanted to highlight when I said that no lead is safe. Miami was not supposed to come back and win this game.
You know how many points Miami scored in the fourth quarter today?
28, right?
28 to 3 in the fourth quarter.
You cannot allow that to happen
No,
when you're at home. That is a big loss, and Harbaugh usually don't make a lot of mistakes. That's a huge loss.
no. Next game, Los Angeles Rams 31, Falcons 27. The Rams did everything they could to try to give this game away.
You know, I was. It's funny because when they were blowing them out, I just kept shaking my head like, I don't think they're gonna cover. I don't think they're gonna cover. And then when they got the punt block and made it close, I was like, 10 points is a lot in the NFL, and it's just hard to blow out your division teams. I mean, we know it's been some cases where guys own their division, but that division is very, very tough.
Yeah, that was a big hit in that game. Sorry for my reaction. Um, San Francisco 27, Seattle 7. Hey, 49er fans, 49er organization, be glad y'all got Jimmy G, man. Prayers up for Trey Lance, man. That was a nasty injury, and he's out for the season, man. So it's a good thing that the 49ers got porn star Jimmy. Sorry for the algorithm. Jimmy Garoppolo is his name. And the 49ers better be glad that they have him. Uh, we threw a lot of verbal bouquets this morning at Geno Smith. 24 of 30 for 197 yards and 1 interception. Jimmy Garoppolo is Jimmy Garoppolo. So it's 13 for 21, 154, 1 touchdown, but he doesn't do anything to hurt you. That's the thing. They had a solid running game. They ran for 189. They threw for 184. But you know who the 49ers is. Run game and defense. Physical. They're the most physical team in the NFL. And that's how they get their wins. And the 49ers move to 1-1. And again, prayers up for Trey Lance. Hope he gets back next year, comes back, and he kills it.
I don't have much to say about this game. I just got to say, Jimmy G got them to the Super Bowl last time he was healthy. He gets them in the playoffs every year deep. Be thankful. Sometimes what you got is better than what you're trying to get.
Yeah, man.
That's all.
All right. So I'm just going to get a score of this game. I got to be honest, I ain't watch it. And Broncos 16, Texans 9.
Broncos look bad, but they 1-1. The Broncos offense looks real stale. Look like they don't know what they want to do. I know the Russ Cook thing and these good receivers to you know, I just don't think that the Broncos. I know a lot of people have said it that he might be the worst quarterback in that division. And a lot of people's like, well, Super Bowl winner. Yeah, he might be the worst quarterback in that division. But it was bad loss for the Raiders, helped the Broncos. So and lost by the Chargers. So they're still within it, but I think the Broncos are gonna struggle to try to squeak into the playoffs.
Speaking of the Raiders, bone crushing loss at home to Arizona. It's a terrible way to give up the lead and a terrible way to lose it.
And the 2 point conversion. So many things had to go right. They stopped them on 4th and 4 and got a defensive holding. Got fresh 4 downs. Then they let Mighty Mouse score on a 4th down with no time on the clock. Then they get a 2 point conversion where AJ Green may have dropped it. Then Raiders get the ball, throw a screen pass to Renfro, and he fumbles. Heartbreaking loss.
Heartbreaker, man. Heartbreaker. I like Derek Carr, man. I do. I'm a Derek Carr fan. You know, he was 25 of 39, 252, 2 touchdowns. You know, Josh Jacobs had a good game. Kyler Murray, 31 of 49, 277, a touchdown to interception. Um, hey, man, that's a game the Raiders could look back at the end of the year and they could be completely sick about it. So last game, hey, man, I got to eat crow. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. I didn't think they would win this game at all. Didn't think they would win it. They pull out a 20-17 victory. A much maligned kicker from Cowboy fans pass. Brett Maher is in the present. Hey, he's 3 for 3, and they all from 50 yards. But here's what people need to know about Brett Maher. From 50 and 60, he's golden. From 49 under, you don't know what you're going to get from him. But today you get a victory. And listen, this ain't Cowboy hyperbole. It's not. I promise you guys, it's not. It's something that you guys got to see with your own 2 eyes. And Micah Parsons is the real deal, folks. He just is. He's a problem, man. He had 2 sacks again today, man. One of the players that me and Quentin always have something to say about led the Cowboys in tackles today, Donovan Wilson. He was there. Pleasant surprise for me as a Cowboy fan today is I ain't going to try the last name. I'll just say the first name. Israel played, and Israel played well. He was a poor man's Javon Curse today. Give credit to Cooper Rush. You know, 19 to 31, 235, a touchdown. Now listen, there was about 4 drop picks, but that's the game, man. Joe Burrow, who may be one of the top quarterbacks in this game, Cowboys kept him under 200 yards, 1 touchdown. Jamar Chase, who's one of the best wide receivers in this game, 9 targets, 5 catches, 54 yards. That's a good game. That's a good game against him. T. Higgins, 6 for 71. Joe Mixon, 19 carries, 57 yards. Look, Zeke, 15 for 53. Tony Pollard, 9 for 43. I think Kellen Moore got a little too conservative in the second half. He didn't trust Cooper Rush. You know, Noah Brown, 5 catches, 91 yards and a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb, 7 catches, 75 yards. Terrible fumble by Dalton Schultz in this game. Can't fumble. Cowboys still kill themselves with penalties. But with all that said, 1-1 is better than 0-2, and we go to New York, man, at 1-1.
I'm gonna give my analysis on this game by answering Anthony's question. Anthony, you asked, is the Cowboys defense that good or the Cincinnati O line that bad? I'll say yes to both. Cincinnati's offensive line is probably worse than last year.
No, it
But
isn't. Y'all got to stop that, man. They made enhancements on their line. You got to give credit to one person and one person only. He goes by DQ. You see the way he mixed it up today? He had
Dwayne,
he had
Dwayne,
he had Joe Burrow so confused with what he was doing one time
Dwayne.
that Joe Burrow called the timeout.
Their offensive line is going to get Burrow killed.
But you made the statement that their offensive line is worse than it was last year. That's not even
I believe they are.
how.
I believe
Williams
they
is a
are.
Williams is a solid offensive tackle.
Yeah.
Collins is a solid offensive
And they
tackle.
were getting work. Dwayne.
Okay,
I'm Dwayne. I'm giving the Cowboy defense credit,
okay,
but
that's
I
what,
seen them last week. The Bengals offensive line is no different than last year.
nah,
It's not that good, bro.
I
It's
just
not that good.
not as bad as last year. It's just not. It's not as bad as last year. You could say they're still not good, but that offensive line is not as bad as it was last year. They're serviceable. Layout
And
Collins, the problem with Layout Collins, he's getting a little long in the tooth. And if you got a bona fide speed rusher against Layout Collins, he could be in trouble. But as far as Cincinnati, here's the problem with Cincinnati as I see it. They got to stick to their running game, man. They got road grade offensive linemen now.
they got two problems. Their passing scheme. Cincinnati's passing scheme would be beautiful if they did 3-step drops. Beautiful. They'd be unstoppable because their receivers, if they run a slant and you miss, they go in the house. Cincinnati needs to realize the type of offensive line that they got and the reason why I think they're bad, and they may be better. If Burrow has to do 5-step drops, they're going to get him killed. In the second half, when they made the adjustment, Cincinnati actually, I was surprised because me and Dwayne, we've been killing Zach Taylor for his coaching. He was running the ball on first down, getting 5 and 6 yards. Running
That's
the ball
what I'm saying about their offensive line. Their offensive line controlled the whole second half.
I think that a lot of young coaches, we see it with the Cowboys offensive coordinator last year. Sometimes you look at your skill players and you see so much they could do that you just be like, I want to just try to score on every play. That's not practical. Anthony, I do want to answer your one question about the Cowboys defense. Trayvon Diggs is light years better than he was last year. I know he hasn't no interceptions, but Trayvon Diggs is a lot better. I wish he would tackle a little bit more at the point of attack sometime, but you know,
Cincinnati,
the Cowboys defense is loaded. And,
Cincinnati,
and
Cincinnati held the ball in this game today for 33 minutes and 48 seconds of this game. Cowboys only had the ball for 26 minutes. The Bengals dominated the second half of this football game. What happened with Zach Taylor is he went on. That was a 9-minute, 18-play drive.
and Dwayne, believe it or
To
not,
score the time.
I believe that that's what teams got to force him to do, because if Burrow keep getting hit, he's not going to make it to week 10, bro. He's not. He look, and I'm not taking nothing away from DQ. I believe the Cowboys front seven is scary good. They was tearing him up in that. They was tearing him up. Their linemen look confused.
Can I tell people something right now? And you can say it for what it's worth. The Cowboys' fourth defensive end is a supreme pass rusher. He was a supreme pass rusher in college. Sam Williams knows how to get to the quarterback. Okay? Off-season
He might be
pickup.
the fifth pass rusher because Fowler didn't look too bad either.
Well, listen. Thank you. Deontay Fowler Jr. He may not be able to stop the run. He knows how to get after the quarterback. Dorrance Armstrong knows how to get after the quarterback. Michael Parsons knows how to get after the quarterback.
Anthony, I don't want to compare Joe Burrow to Andrew Luck as far as the injuries, But Joe Burrow, his career may go down like Dan Marino.
Y'all
I'm
ain't,
telling you.
y'all ain't listening, man. Y'all just ain't listening, man. Did y'all see what DQ was doing at times? Do y'all notice there was time in this game where the Cowboys defensive linemen didn't even go down in stances? They were all standing up. They was blitzing from everywhere, man. You got to give credit to the scheme. The scheme confused Joe Burrow a lot of times. And then Joe Burrow is an elite quarterback in this league. You got a tie game. Yeah, you got the ball at like the 17-yard line. But you had a tie game with all your timeouts and a 2-minute warning, bro. And you took the ball out of Joe Burrow's hand? You played clock. Zach Taylor played for overtime. And it bit him in his ass. But as I always say, 1-1 is better than 0-2. Now, I got a catchy catchphrase that I'm known for. Never trust a field goal kicker. But today I trusted him. Brett Marhart, number 19. This man may be our best offensive weapon.
No, you know who our best weapon is. Stop it. Our punter.
Well, Brian Anger is the real MVP. Look at how he flips the skill. And I'm here to tell y'all right now. Look into my eyes.
Turpin?
Before this year is over, Turpin returned and won, bro. Before it's over, he returned and won, man. But, hey, man, we got to win. And that's all it is a win. And a tough game in New York on Monday night. The one good thing about it being a Monday night game is true diehard Giant fans ain't going to be there because they're like Sunday at 1. So it could be a very pro-Dallas Cowboy crowd because it's a Monday night football game. And that can help Cooper Rush. And if you think I'm saying that for hate, it's a known fact. Talk to any Giant fan. They hate Monday night games at home. They hate them.
With that.
And now we got, early in this game, Packers had one drive. They got a field goal out of it. And Justin Fields is driving the Bears down the field right now. They just ran a nice little flea flicker. Once again, we thank you guys for being here. Hey, listen, man. Tomorrow is huge. We talked about it earlier today, man. Tomorrow is huge. You got Tennessee Buffalo at 7:15 on ESPN. And you got Minnesota and the Eagles live from Philly at 8:30 on ABC. So 2 for the price of 1 tomorrow. To my brother, who I love very much, thank you again. Another great day. And hey, man, we lose people, man. We've lost people along the way. Love people, man.
Can I get a question out of you before we close?
Yeah.
I got a question for you before we close.
Okay.
Can the Eagles slow down Justin Jefferson?
They better pray.
With that,
I will put Slay on him myself. Put Slay on him.
With that, we'll see you guys next week for our review show. Have a good week. Stay safe and remember.
We may pop up tomorrow. We got 2 games though.
Yeah, we may pop up tomorrow and do something. We're gonna do our power show, but we might. It's gonna be hard.
Yeah.